I feel like this part of your head is like the hair is up more than the
It
other
is.
part. I like it though. It's like asymmetrical, like that 80s kind of like.
It just lets you know I'm all off balance. I'm just off balance.
Or if you tilt your head kind of like, but that'll make you look.
No,
weird.
I want them to see my off balanceness. It just means that
It gives you character. It
yes,
gives you,
my character.
Definitely.
This is who I am, you guys. This is Leo Love.
And I'm not changing for nobody.
Nobody.
And you shouldn't. No one should. Take that.
Look, watch me work. I'm Author Love.
And I'm author Shawn Christopher.
Welcome to Conscious Convos.
Pound CC, like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff.
Wait,
This
hold
is
on.
Episode.
He just said pound CC. Do y'all know what that is? Y'all know what a pound sign is?
Yeah, Pound CC, Conscious Convos. It's a tag.
I know.
What
But
happened?
I need them to know that
I'll put it on the
pound
screen.
sign, listen, pound sign is the 90s and 80s versions of saying hashtag in our day.
It is. It is. Why do I say? I've been saying that. You haven't said anything to me.
I just called him out.
I was like, wait a minute.
I haven't heard that.
I'm an old soul.
Indeed,
I'm
we
an
are.
old
We are
soul.
millennials with old souls.
Yes.
But it's just so dope to hear him say that because
You have
I remember
to.
when we had the house phone and when you would try to, what was it?
It's the
No, it
rotary
was
phone thing.
star.
No?
Yeah, it was star and it was pound when you like on the phone. You know. And
Was it pound? It was star 69, not pound 6. What
yeah,
did
it
you
was
use the
star.
pound?
Yeah, it was star, which is asterisk.
Mhm.
And then it was the pound sign, but you used the pound sign for something. I just don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't remember what that.
But we call it a pound sign and not a hashtag. So I guess the technical term is hashtag, which we use now.
Hashtag or pound sign for those of you that may be 40 plus. I'm playing.
Shade.
No shade. You know, maturity is a beautiful thing. We'll all be
It
maturing.
really is.
Some of us will look 40 and some of us will look 80 at 40. But whatever. That shit.
And that's all right because the youth is in here. It's in your heart.
It's in your heart. And you know, that's another conversation. Do you believe that being youthful on the inside makes you look
Youthful
physically
on the
youthful on the outside?
And you know what? I have a lot to say about that because I absolutely do. So we'll save that for
We
another
will,
video and you guys
definitely. I'm
will
excited
hear us
about
talking
that one
about
already.
I actually think that's going to be our
ready.
next one. What do you think?
That will be the next one. Yes, that's
next
going to be the next
video.
one. Yeah, I'm so glad that you guys are here to help us make that decision. Like that's okay.
See?
All right. We're going.
we create beautiful things. So
veering off
today we're going to talk about masculine and feminine energy.
Yes, we are. We're going to talk about what characterizes us as being masculine in society versus what characterizes us as being feminine in society.
Yep.
So, what are your thoughts on that?
So, thoughts on masculinity and femininity. Well, it goes very far back, of course. I do believe that both energies are extremely, extremely powerful. However, we are living in a very masculine world right now where masculinity it's the driving force behind the work environment, behind TV and, you know, different aspects of ourselves that we present to other people. So for example, I'm very independent and I really hug that.
I can vouch for that.
Yes,
I can
I
definitely.
squeeze it real tight because that's how I get things done. That's the masculine energy in me. However, I am very feminine in the regard of how I present myself, the clothes that I wear, the way that I speak. You know, it's a very, in a very smooth, compassionate, kind of charismatic manner.
You got that flow going on.
And it's only because those are my masculine features, and I'm definitely think that that is a masculine trait, is the dominance in me. As far as femininity is concerned, yes, it's a tongue twister.
Anemone. That's another one.
Good thing.
Femininity and anemone.
Yeah, anemone.
Say both of them together 5 times and you win. No. Okay.
As far as femininity is concerned, it is a powerful energy, and I do believe that it is necessary in order for masculinity to exist. All of us have feminine energy, whether or not we want to, especially men, whether or not they want to recognize it and really agree with having it, it's there. So Yeah, again, going back to society, we live in a very masculine society, but that if the feminine energy did not exist here in this society, there would be a lot of things that have gone wrong. Yeah.
I definitely believe that masculine and feminine energy and just the whole role in general lies on a spectrum, especially nowadays, now that we're in the present. And a lot of people, you know, back in the olden days used to believe you had to be one or the other. And if you were a male, you had to be completely masculine in your actions, in the way that you carried yourself, in your career. Otherwise, you were going to get made fun of. Same thing for being a woman, like how they didn't allow women to work at all.
Right,
and they wanted them to stay home and do all of the typically feminine aspects. So
they domesticated us.
Definitely, you know, and I love that now we are at a place where people can lie more so on a spectrum, which is what I agree with. You know, I love to see a strong, independent woman, just like I love to see a guy that knows how to communicate. You know, you need both of those different things, not just in nature, as you were saying, but also like in business and also just in the community. You know, we have to learn how to work together. And I feel like that is why things are becoming just a little bit more liberal, because we do have to work together.
Right. So, what is your idea behind, do you think that one is more powerful than the other?
I don't think one is more powerful than the other. I feel like they go like hand in hand, you know, because if you didn't have the male energy, you wouldn't have the aggression, the drive, you know, the basically the main force that builds a lot of the different things that we have and the technological advancements and all those different things. But then if we didn't have the feminine qualities, we wouldn't have the procreation of humans, you know, and many other things as well.
Well, not only that,
and
but
communication and connection and all those different things.
And feminine energy drives reason. It drives
emotions.
You know, right. And so, you know, when, for example, when a man's emotions are out of control, that feminine nurturing that women have naturally comes into play, and that's sort of like the medicine for the man, you know. And that also goes with
I feel like without feminine energy, we'd have a lot more unnecessary wars, really.
Man, I see so many buildings burned down.
Like over very egotistical things, you know, that is very characteristic of what people believe a male should be. So we do need, we need feminine energy. Definitely. I would never discount feminine energy or masculine energy. They do go hand in hand.
But see, also, since we are living in a more masculine sort of society, a lot of women are taking on those masculine features that are characteristics that are typically more prevalent in men. And so since they are taking on those more masculine features, men are starting to submit to that energy, because ultimately the woman is taking that masculine energy and turning it into her feminine energy and mixing it together. That's a very powerful force. But since men don't typically harness their feminine energy, they don't exude the same amount of power per se. You know, of course, they have...
It's like untapped power.
Right, it's untapped power, and it's only because they're not willing to accept that feminine energy about themselves.
Now, do you believe that ego is the reason for that? Like, for a man?
Absolutely.
And then all the different, like, this, just the stigma that comes along with that, you know, oh, you know, because you like to communicate and all those different things, you know, people try to say that you're more feminine than you should be and things like that. You know, that was something that I struggled with, you know, being a communicator. I love to talk. And that is a quality that people associate with being more feminine. And, you know, that's what makes me me, and I'm not changing that, you know, and I feel like if we embrace those things as men, you know, about ourselves, it would actually make us better, and it would make us better communicators for the women in our lives or whoever we have in our lives. Because without that feminine energy, you're only one half of a man.
And I agree with that completely. There was a situation where this man was talking to his son. His son was like, kind of like, you know, he was following behind one other kid, and they were marching. And, you know, the kid's hips may have went a little hard on each side, you know. And the dad screamed at his son and was like, hey, you're a man. You're a man. You don't walk like that. And it was like me. I was like, brr.
Yeah, that's
you know, but this is a 6-year-old child who hit, you know, that
he was probably
the notches in his hips a little harder.
Something he saw,
but he had his hands on his hips, but he was just marching. For me, I saw it as marching. But the thing that stood out the most was the fact that the father, when he addressed his son is he did it in front of everyone, opposed to saying, hey, kid, let me talk to you real quick. Let's have a conversation about what I just witnessed that you did. And, I don't agree with it, but, let me tell you, let me ask you if you were trying to be more feminine. Were you trying to walk like a girl, or were you actually marching? And, I don't think that it was I don't think that it was something that he intentionally did and he was trying to walk more feminine. I think that he was just marching. He was just playing like a kid should. And so especially the embarrassing side of it, where the kid now is looking around, they're not even focused on what the parent is saying anymore. They're focused on how embarrassed they are and how everybody's looking at them because his father is calling his child out on something that he did that was considered more feminine. So that's how we grow up in a world where people are fearful of exuding more feminine or more masculine energies, just like the tomboy little girl. Hey, the mom's like, you need to put a dress on, and the daughter's like, but I just want to wear pants and a t-shirt and some sneakers, and the mom's like, no, you need a dress on. Well, that doesn't mean that she's not feminine, or that she's going to turn out to be someone different that you don't want her to become. That just means she's more comfortable wearing jeans, a t-shirt, and some sneakers. Same with this little boy. Maybe he wasn't intentionally trying to walk like a girl, or maybe he was trying to imitate a girl and be funny. Those are things that the parents need to speak with their kids about in order to gain a better understanding, so that we don't continue to grow up in a world where people are fearful of the opposing energies.
One thing that I did notice in the story that you were telling was that you said that there was an alternative way to handle the situation, which is basically asking the child what they did, what was the meaning behind what you did. And I feel like that's much more of a powerful way to handle things versus attacking your child and traumatizing them,
Yes.
and making them really doubt themselves. And that self-doubt that you root into a child will follow them.
Right, and it'll make them curious.
Definitely.
It'll make them curious. You don't want to embarrass your child, and you don't want to embarrass anybody,
Because children remember the things that you do to them, and the things you do for them as
and
well.
how you make them feel.
You have to know that and understand that. A lot of parents, believe that, oh, well, they're not going to remember this, or it doesn't matter. But yes,
Right.
it does. Every day that you raise your child, I don't have children, but every day that you do raise your child and cultivate certain things in your child, you are creating and building a person,
Right.
every day. So
Yes.
you should always keep that in mind.
Have to be careful, and that's actually what my books are about. They're
Yes,
creating.
tell them about. I'm excited about this. Tell them.
So it's creating platforms for parents to really have the conversation about sensitive topics with their young children. So my first children's book is about it's about a little boy. His name's Aubrey, and the title is Aubrey and Daddy Have a Talk, where basically the father catches Aubrey in the bathtub playing with his penis, and his dad handles the conversation with Aubrey constructively and empathetically, so that way he understands why Aubrey is doing the things that he's doing, where he learned it from. But Aubrey is comfortable speaking to his father about these things because his father has created a platform for him to be comfortable. So if parents aren't creating these platforms and allowing kids to really develop their natural abilities and who they're going to become, you're going to get that fear of discomfort when you're out into the world. You're going to get that fear from your child to really be who they're truly supposed to be. And I'm not saying to just let them run wild or run rampant. No, I'm saying create a platform, an open line of communication for them to really express themselves. And so that way we move into a world where people are comfortable in their masculinity and their femininity, and then incorporating both of them into it to get that. So that's what my books are about, to create that platform for parents and children to really have this conversation.
And then what did you say the name of the book was again?
Aubrey and Daddy Have a Talk.
Yes, and I feel like if we do cultivate our children in that aspect and in that way, it won't be so difficult for others out there that may be on that spectrum,
Right.
to be who they are. And then ultimately we'll have a yin and a yang, a nice
Yin
little
and
balance
yang.
as well. So, yeah.
By the way, this guy, he's a psychology major. He's the one that will speak to you from a psychological standpoint, and it is
From
awesome.
the mind.
Right, from the
Yes.
mind.
And we have Love, who speaks from her heart.
I
Love,
speak
heart.
from my heart. I'm a communicator, so I'm really learning, and I'm not going to say I'm an expert, but I am really learning the craft of communication, and I love to hear the psychological standpoint of it, which is why there's such a good balance on the
Yin
show.
and the yang,
The
or
yin and the
yin and yang. I don't know
It's
which
the
one
female.
is which.
Yin and yang is the feminine, masculine.
There's animus and anima. Where is that from? Do you know?
I have no idea.
It's something, I'll have to look it up. I believe it is a psychological term,
Yeah.
though. But it's like masculine and feminine. Anima, of course, would be feminine.
Yes.
Animus. But
Well,
I'll
there's a
probably
lot
look
of
it up.
symbols out there, ancient symbols that have the masculine and feminine energies. I actually have one on my ring right now. It's the Ankh. A lot of people are familiar with it.
That's a lovely bronze.
That's the
too.
Ankh. Yes, it's actually copper.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
I don't
they're
like
the
jewelry.
colors are very similar, but the Ankh also has the masculine and feminine energy. But the symbols, again, this goes back to doing your research and being able to really understand what masculine and feminine energy is. There's so many symbols out there, as I stated before, so many symbols that have masculine and feminine energy incorporated into them that it makes you wonder, well, maybe
They are meant to be
right.
together. Definitely. Like
It's
when
not
you look
a
at
separate.
when you look at the yin and the yang sign, they're together. They're not separate. So
Right.
definitely, yeah.
When you see statues of men and women just hugging each other, it's a beautiful, beautiful unison. And ultimately they should be egalitarian. They should be equal. So.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm a feminist, so I mean, I completely agree with you. And being a feminist does not necessarily mean that you have to be a female.
Right, exactly.
Feminism is more for equality of the female. Which is another thing. I don't understand why you guys don't get paid as much as males do if you're doing the same amount of work. But that's older, traditional thinking. So
We used to be property, guys. We used to be property. And in some ways we still are.
In what ways, in your opinion?
I feel like there's this I don't know to call it a concept or what, but it's you have the 1%ers and the 99%ers type thing where so you have a relationship where there's 99%, so basically the 1% is the female. She's basically property.
Wow.
A lot of biker gangs actually have the 99%ers or whatever, where the man is the 99% and the woman is the 1%. She's the property, and she assumes that role. Yeah, but other aspects of being property is music. How we are presented in music. We're sexualized.
Yeah,
That's
over-sexualized a lot of times.
right.
Not that I don't enjoy the videos, but I love the creativity.
The booty shaking, the titty bouncing.
I mean, not necessarily that, but just the creativity,
Mm-hmm.
aspect of that. I mean, I feel like everybody should embrace their bodies, but if you don't want to be seen
Mm-hmm.
as a sex symbol, then don't
Carry
allow
yourself,
your
yeah.
label or whatever it is, whatever publication, whatever that you're under. If you don't want to be viewed that way or seen as that way, then I definitely would say don't do it.
Right, exactly.
But if you're comfortable with your body and you want to present yourself in that sexual way, do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for allowing people to be who they truly are.
Express yourselves, and of course
So-
we can do that in a way where we really respect the men and the women and the energies of the world. But definitely, I say, if you don't be afraid to harness that masculinity about yourself if you're a female, and men, don't be afraid to hug that feminine energy and use it to understand each other and to really connect.
That's the point of being on this earth, is to
Right.
connect. This comes from a spiritual place, which
Yeah.
I know that you're familiar with.
Yeah.
Spirit, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so, we're all interconnected, and I feel like the people that we meet, who we come across, what we see, it all ties to teaching us about ourselves. We
Right.
are mirrors of each other, and accepting
Mhm.
the feminine aspects of yourself. as a man and accepting the masculine aspects of yourself as a woman is very important. It's important. It's a building process. It makes you whole and complete. Because without one, there wouldn't be the other. Without the man, you couldn't procreate. Without the woman, you couldn't procreate.
Right.
We need each other. We need to work together.
We do, and love on one another. So
Yes.
they're powerful energies. We just have to appreciate them and learn to use them in a way where we can all work together to build a beautiful world, or to continue to build a beautiful world. We want to hear your comments and your suggestions.
Yes, we do. Like, comment, subscribe, all those wonderful things. We love to hear your opinions about those.
You can follow us on Instagram. I am O_love, so OH_love on Instagram.
And I'm at author_Shawn, SHAWN, Christopher, or Chris, CHRIS. And we'll post that at the bottom of the screen for you guys, just in case you didn't catch that. But yeah.
And don't forget to like our pages on Facebook. I'm on Facebook at I'm Author Love, IMAUTHORLUV.
Yes, and I'm on Facebook as author Shawn Christopher.
Yes. So please subscribe to our channel. You will continue to hear deeper conversations. We're really only grazing the surface, guys. You gotta understand, we're only grazing the surface, and that's because we want you guys to hear our novice views on things, and then to also hear our in-depth, just very passionate views on other things that we've done research on. And none of our views are just solely, well, I won't say none of them, but we definitely base our opinions on it from an open-minded perspective. So we do our research and we back it up with facts and things like that. So,
and if you want to see anything on our shows, or add any opinions or any of that stuff, please feel free to email us at consciousconvos@gmail.com. We'll leave that for you at the end of the show, just so that you can have that information. But yes, if you have any ideas for episodes, subjects, and things like that, please feel free to contact us any way you can. Facebook, through email, however, just so that we can go ahead and get that started for you guys, because we love to hear opinions and we love to hear ideas. That's what Conscious Convos is all about.
Indeed. All right, you guys, that's the end of this episode. Tune in for more. What's our next episode going to be about?
Our next episode is going to be about, I think we mentioned it in the beginning.
We did. You're right. We mentioned it.
We'll have to play it back and then we'll let you know.